I was in the New York, New Jersey area, and so I looked it up and found a great midnight express here on the Super Jeff Express. They go out 7:30 p.m., come back at 12:30 in the morning, and you fish that whole time. It's peaceful, it's calm, and on this trip we caught a lot of delicious croaker, as well as some sharks and some skates. But I kept some of the croaker, and now we're going to show you how we make Nigerian red pepper sauce croakers. But first, let's catch one. We've been catching them here on this side of the boat. It's like a rocky bottom, and I know we're probably down about 50 feet. Yeah, there's another nice one. These are croakers. Have a look at that beautiful fish. Well, I'm gonna make a riff off of Nigerian red pepper sauce croaker fish. That's the plan. And I've got some fresh onions from the vegetable garden, and I'm going to use some tomatoes instead of fresh red peppers because I don't have any of those yet. But this is my bag of croakers from last night from the trip. As I said earlier in the video, the captain really did a great job, put us right on the fish, and then the mate, Ben, was doing an excellent job helping us keep the lines in the water and keep the fish coming in. Now Ben, while we were out there in the ocean, went ahead and gutted, scaled, and took off the heads of these croakers so they'd be easy for us to manage. And in my case, I'm gonna pull a few out and make this meal. Let's give it a try. So as I said, Ben, the mate, field dressed these. He did a good job cleaning them. When you get them home, what I did is I cleaned them off some more, made sure all of the guts were out of there. Now we have these beautiful fish. And I'm gonna go ahead and take off the tails and the fins, and then I'm gonna go ahead and cut them into chunks because that's the way this recipe calls for it. I see a lot of recipes too where people score them on both sides and put herbs and stuff on them and then fry them up too. So it's a matter of what you wanna do. Me, I like to try something spicy with these fish, so we're gonna try this Nigerian-based recipe. And now here's what that fish looks like chunked up. So now you know like how we're working. Try to keep the chunks of everything evenly sized. It makes for a better looking presentation. Doesn't affect the flavor really, but it just looks nice. All right, now I'm gonna hit this up with some of my favorite spices when I'm making things a little spicy. I don't like things too hot, but a little spice is good flavor. The actual recipe calls for fresh, hot habanero peppers, but I don't have any of those in the garden right now, so I'm just gonna use what I have on hand. So mother-in-law's Korean chili flakes, little chili powder, a little fresh ground pepper and sea salt, a little turmeric, a little garlic salt, a little garlic powder, a little white pepper, a little ginger, a little cumin, and that's all going to be added in here, as you see. Just sprinkle it in there. A lot of this is to taste, and then you stir that up. This is after you've washed the fish one last time and then patted it dry with a paper towel. So it's nice and dry now. It's gonna have these herbs and spices all over it, and then it's gonna get fried up in the frying pan. That's stage one, until it's crispy. Okay, so let's go ahead and just stir this up. You can see the beautiful meat in there. Dab that meat into the herbs and spices. Make sure it gets all blended up. Here we have an open end, kind of the same way you'd prep a steak. Get some in the middle there, into the cavity. Get it on both ends there. And now we are ready for the frying pan, and my wonderful wife, who never wants to be shown on film except for her hands doing the cooking because we can't avoid that, is going to go ahead and take care of the frying pan duty for this stuff. All right, so we've reached the point in the frying stage where it's looking nice and browned up. The sizzle is very appealing. Get it nice and brown on both sides. And these are smaller fish, so they don't take long to cook. Basically what we're doing is we're frying them up here in the oil, olive oil, of course. And we're waiting maybe 10 minutes so we're sure that they're flaky. Now the next step here is we're going to take our fish out of the frying pan and put it onto another plate that's lined with paper towels, and we're going to pat the excess oil off of them, and then we're going to hold them in reserve until we're ready with the next part, which is the sauce and the other good stuff. Now our next step is going to be to use that same pan that we took the fish out of and fried the fish up in, because it's got all those great herbs and spices and flavor in there. And we're going to go ahead and do these vegetables here until the onions get translucent. Then we'll add some sauce and we'll almost be ready to go. Now our vegetables are translucent there, and so we're adding a little bouillon. You could add chicken bouillon or vegetable bouillon. I am adding vegetable bouillon because that's what we have in the pantry. So, oh, the aroma is fantastic. Really, really good. And then we're going to stir that up and let it simmer a little bit. Then we're going to add some sauce. And then our fish will be the last thing that goes back in there. And now our next step is to add some sauce. Traditionally, the recipe calls for just tomato sauce, quote unquote, but we make our own homemade spaghetti sauce from the tomatoes we grow, and it's really good. It's got its own flavor profile to add to this mash up here. So, you know, do it as you like it and add as much as you want. There's no real formula. You know, this is basic food that you can just slap together. You do it how you like it. It's so all in the freshness of the ingredients. And of course the fish has to be ultra fresh. And this fish was just caught last night. This fish isn't even a half day old yet. So look at that. Oh my gosh. Wow. And now the final step, we're going to put our fish back in there. Boy, the aroma. Whew. Smells good. Going to put our fish back in there. We're going to let that simmer for 5 minutes on a low heat. And what that's going to do is infuse the flavor together with everything else that's in there. And that's going to make our Nigerian red sauce croaker fish. And we'll give it a taste test. I'm going to stir it up a little bit while it's simmering. Man. I hope it tastes as good as it looks and smells, because it looks great and the aroma is fantastic. One thing I do want to add is, if you can create a little garden space for yourself, do, because the flavors that you put with your fish when you make it are incredible. This is our little modest area where we have raised garden beds. 4x8 boxes grows our tomatoes, our cucumbers, our herbs, our spices, and all that stuff. And boy, does it make a difference in the flavor. So here you have it, this beautiful Nigerian red sauce croaker fish. And it's a good idea to have a little plate like you would for chicken bones if you're eating chicken wings, or shrimp shells if you're eating clam shells, okay? To me, you know, there's gonna be some bones in here, but it's, again, no different than chicken. Some people get freaked out because there's bones in fish. Well, you know, there's bones in chicken too, so what? Anyway, let's taste it. Now, some people actually eat the skin. I'm not a fan of that unless it's uber crispy. But look at that beautiful white meat there. Let's get some of that white meat. And get some of those vegetables. Yeah. Little tomato, little onion. Let's give it a try. Yep. Flavor burst in the mouth from the sauce and the herbs. Doesn't taste fishy at all. This little fish is a kind of a surpriser because it's a little fish. They're very aggressive. They hit really well when you're fishing, so they're fun to fish for. They smell a bit strong when you're cooking them, we noticed, but they are superheroes when it comes to omega-3s and heart-healthy things for you. So this is absolutely delicious. Really good. If you get out and get some croakers, maybe you want to try this recipe. Thanks for watching, and thanks again to the captain and to mate Ben and all the other folks who are out there fishing. We had a great time going out of Sheepshead Bay and then over towards Sandy Hook. Great, great night of fishing. I give it 5 fins out of 5. Highest recommendation, go out on that vessel. You'll have a great time. I'll put the information how you can connect with them in the notes that go with this video. I'm Dave Klein for Raptor Adventures. See you next adventure.